And welcome to the third live stream of the afternoon. I'm Alex Answer. It is July 4th in the year 2018. We're not exactly bringing in the new year, but we are bringing in this 4th of July. Not doing a whole lot this 4th of July. I'm obviously here hanging out with you. Curious what you're doing on this 4th of July. What does freedom mean to you? Independent thought. We're just going to hold open this live stream for a little bit. Feel free to join. Thumb up. Please share. Hello to those of you on social media that are watching on Facebook, right? It's almost like something out of a Christmas story. Bah, humbug. Them damn 4th of July fireworks goers. Buying them fireworks from China. Most people wonder if we even remember what freedom even is. We have differences of opinion clearly in this nation of 330 million plus on a whole array of issues. One of the biggest issues has been the issue of freedom of speech. But you know what an even bigger issue is? Freedom of thought. We have to work. I believe we have to work to maintain, right, our freedom, psychological freedom. And that can be hindered. That can be hindered when we are programmed to a certain degree to police ourselves, to not even think about certain things. Speaking is one thing, action is another, but what about free thought? As I adjust this here briefly on the fly. And by the way, this whole thing, this whole current setup, as I grab my coffee here, is a lot more simpler to manage the whole thing than last year when I was having to use software. This is probably my first 4th of July doing a live stream like this. I think I did some live streams last summer. Looks like we have one viewer. And I was addressing a lot of those concerns last year, and I'm definitely, make sure I'm centered up here, a lot more relaxed this year. You know, it's no longer like, you know, are we really a free country? It's like, to a certain degree, yes, there are freedoms that we have. They should be respected, and we should exercise those freedoms. In other ways, we could see a hindrance, or we could see a restriction of certain freedoms. In a lot of ways, we see government taking a step to the side and people going at each other over freedoms and arguments and things of that nature. Portland, Oregon is a great example of that. Politics and religion. And for years, those particular issues, right? They'll tell me, they'll tell you, they'll tell others, don't talk about politics and religion. And now there's more of a divide than other. You're either with the MAGA crowd or you're with Hillary Clinton. And if you don't choose a side, if you claim that you're just human, you might as well not even be counted. And that's where we're at right now. What does it feel like to be one of those that's not even counted? How free do you feel? To be a free man. Not like the typical quote-unquote free man, but a real free man. Inside, not just, I'm writing a little title over here. Capital letters, small letters. No, a real freeman. Beyond the mind control. Beyond the left-right paradigm. I believe in private property rights. Show me anybody in office today that supports people not being ran off their land if they're not wealthy. It's a facade that there are people out there currently in office that care about the little guy. Now, here's a question for you. What does freedom mean for you, and how are you enjoying this 4th of July? We have one person in the chat. Welcome. Welcome. Feel free to let us know how you are enjoying this 4th of July. I'm enjoying some Folgers coffee at the moment. I am not enjoying an alcoholic beverage. When I do enjoy an alcoholic beverage, it's not too often. It's usually an IPA or an amber ale. How about yourself? One thing that I think people need to ditch within this culture is being offended if somebody doesn't like Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon is one of those beers that's very popular with the Portland crowd. It's very popular from Antifa to today's average redneck. The crap beer. You know what I'm talking about. There's something about that. There's something about that that just eats at the gut. Now, what I'm not going to do is repeat, because I don't want to get my video flagged, the types of comments that come in periodically. But how do you enjoy the 4th of July? What does it mean to you? How do you express your freedom? How do you express your free thoughts? Your individuality. It's interesting. Fireworks have been banned during this period in which we're seeing multiple fires in multiple states. It's not just Colorado. There is a fire. There have been a number of fires east of the San Francisco, California area. One of the fires, believe it or not, was started by sparks from a truck. Another, they say, an illegal immigrant from Denmark. Another was started by lightning. Another series of fires in Colorado several weeks ago was started as a result of lightning. Drink roast coffee here. Now check this out. And I don't know how to say your name. John. I think it's about $20, but they have something decent on eBay and Amazon. You can grind your own coffee beans. And even though I'm off the grid, you would think that I would already have like one of those particular coffee bean type of apparatus setups. One of the things that people think when they think off grid, they think making your cheese yourself, making your milk yourself. They may not realize it's really just about getting away from the masses. Even if you're not even fully off the grid, just whoa. Are we really meant to live in some of the biggest cities on the earth? Really? Do you think so? Is the answer yes or no? And if the answer is no, just keep in mind, nobody in office and no one's running for office in 2020 that I know of that believes in people having private property rights. The idea, I mean, there's a lot of stuff about, you know, rights to mine and things of that nature. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm talking about people being able to build their off-grid communities. The land use regulations like coming up to the 21st century. When you go on that particular direction, on that particular path, and you leave the city and you want to live in a part of rural America, it's then, and in some cases only then, that somebody really may start to really look at how not free we are on paper. Freedom is an inside job. It's not what's down on paper or what the state is saying. And by the way, it was a dumb thing what that person did, right? But the other people out there, they're anti-statist, right? Anti-draconian government. They shouldn't be blamed for the fire. They shouldn't be blamed for the fire. People that want to be independent from the system. But you see, we live in a world where the Agent Smiths of the Matrix want us to be policing each other. You know, there was a video that I recorded. I guess I haven't had a chance to upload it yet. And it's about Permit Patty. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, some people just want to be angry at all white Americans. And Permit Patty kind of fits into that. But see, all those people that were sitting there angry at that woman that pretended to call the police on that girl that was selling water. I don't know whether you agree with that or not. The Permit Patty thing, hashtag Permit Patty, right? I don't agree with her calling the code enforcement or the police, but does she deserve to be, people are really cruel on social media. Have you noticed that? The punishment doesn't fit the crime, folks. If people are really angry about permits, why blame one lady in their own witch hunt from one viral story? I think that there is, and I wrote an article about this at offgridco.com. I invite you to read it. The link is down below in the description. It's one of my 5 websites. people like to beat up on that person, right? That's in the news, that's on Front Street, so they can feel better. I go, look at that bad woman. It's the Permit Patty. She must be a racist. But what about, right, the system of permits and control and regulation that ultimately people support? Now, Joe Rogan was having a discussion about regulations and permits with another individual. Joe Rogan's had a lot of strange guests on. The point is, but he's also put out some interesting content. Don't agree with everything that he says. But they were arguing on behalf of government regulations, because if you don't have some government regulations, someone can build something and there could be they could resell it and the thing could break down in 10 years. There's a reason why there are some regulations. But at what point do we have an adult conversation about those regulations that should remain there, and regulations where there probably should be some updating? There are certain things they could allow certain counties and regions and states if they wanted to. We are still in this old paradigm model, unfortunately, of a lot of local governments, a lot of local towns, reliant on tax dollars. What does that mean? Property values. They're living in this world of everything being about property values. You know, one thing about natural disasters, how it brings people together? It brings a whole bunch of people together that are losing something material. And it is horrible if they're going through that crisis. By the way, throw some prayers to the people that just got news that they lost their home. And again, there are fires that have been caused by lightning. So we are now in a period in which, again, we're facing this mighty path of nature. And the question was earlier, how close am I specifically to the spring fire? And the answer is Colorado, many regions of it. We're talking about like most of the state. The issue is any new fires that break out could cause major devastation because of the conditions. We're waiting on rain to occur in the next day or so. And this rain is much needed to bring down the spread of the spring fire, the 416 fire. There's a new fire over by Weston Pass that I believe has still shut down 285. And then we have a shutdown of Highway 12 in La Veta. And we have a shutdown of Highway 160. So the issue more specifically is people are on edge in all the counties in Colorado because anything accidental, including something being caused by a gun, for example. And there are people that shoot on a regular basis this time of year. It is legal to do so on your own land. However, it's highly recommended that people don't because of the likelihood that a fire could start. So this is really a historic time for the world if you look at it with different eyes, from a different perspective. Taking a look at the comment section. Hello, AH. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, because we were discussing that on the side. Earlier, we were talking about Permit Patty. Oh, thank you, John Hangman. I'm glad you found me as well. There's been a number of comments, by the way, from Portlanders that have found my channel again. And I don't know, there was a period in which I was like, where is everybody? They used to watch, but for some reason, people are finding my work again or are wondering where I've been or somehow by accident finding my content. And that's what's also really challenging me to continue doing what I'm doing, but to continue to evolve it. Not only to evolve as a human being, but to evolve the actual topics. There's more to life than threat analysis. There's more to life than focusing on, whether something hits the you-know-what by a certain point in time. There's more to life than YouTube drama. There's more to life than infighting. We are only going to be alive so long. So the question is, what is our truth? Because I swear, as God is my witness, the things that we say and the things that we type and the things that we do are being monitored by the ultimate cosmic surveillance society. We are being watched. You are being watched. It's not always sinister forces that are watching us. We are being watched. And we are being tested. And I see ways in which people that identify with both the left and right are tested morally. Are you going to kick that person while they're on that ground? Whether you're dealing with their words or whether you're dealing with your steel toe boots. And what are you doing wearing steel toe boots anyways, punk? and I don't mean you. I'm saying we're in a big, large cosmic dance, right? Where we are not here by accident. We're active prisoners on the biological prison planet. Cheers to that. Cheers to that. We were given the ultimate gift of communication in this prison planet, that we can talk about these things, that we can talk about them. They may say send their little distractions to keep us away from discussing how to free ourselves from their influence. And we can see different types of threats to our lives in this world because they want our fear. They want our fear. They want us afraid. Even when we're doing threat analysis, we got to be able to reel in that primal fear of thinking that one particular president, whether we like him or not, is coming in to save the day or in the world. There's a reason why I left that Obama stronghold of Portland, Oregon. There's a reason why I'm an independent, why I'm also kind of like in Trump country. And I may have like my own beliefs, but like at what point, right, is it respectable for a man to go his own way? I don't believe it's our nature for all the men to be banded together like, rah, and we're all under one flag and one group and one way of thinking and one way of talking and one food item, one type of this. And elements of our society wants to lead us back to that. Even on the left side of things, the supposed anti-Trump, you have fundamental groupthink, even within that, collectivism, as it's also known. But the frequency of collectivism supersedes left or right. It's everywhere. So I don't think that we're victims by being born through the portal of a woman. It's interesting that we were born through the portal of a woman and that we came into this biological prison planet and that we are seeing, we are coexisting in this space with some souls that seem like they just got out of hell. They found themselves to a computer and it's time to go to town. Like, yeah. Then there are other people that are trying to do something else with their access to this technology, actually trying to understand, what are we doing? Why are we alive? Who are we? Why are we asking such questions? Why is humanity, why is the world on fire in the hearts and minds of all these people, but not just Americans, worldwide? Why are we on a planet where it seems that it's so easy to see the control structure, yet it's also so easy to see billions of people clueless about the control structure? Well, they have access to all this information. You see, there's spiritual gnosis in that. We live on a planet where the majority of the people on this planet are asleep and do not support freedom. Even if they use freedom as a branding for their product, for their flag, freedom actually means something. Freedom of thought, freedom to be an individual, freedom to think for yourself and not be called someone's political opposition. That's freedom. People are forgetting what freedom is. And thus, it's like watching the end of the world. It's like watching a country die slowly. So what's the solution? There's more to freedom than political. It's the freedom for you to seek this knowledge without having to go through necessarily a church. What I don't do on this platform is go after quote unquote Christians, nor do I support that. But to some people that think they're Christians, run around the internet trying to police the things that we say when we talk about reaching God and spirituality. Absolutely, they do not come in the name of God. They may, in their mind, think that they're coming in the name of God, and they may truly believe in that God of that Old Testament. The punishing God of, that's archonic. I don't believe that's the true creator. Our whole world, right, is awash in mystical information about supernatural entities that brought up mankind and civilization and dropped it to its knees. And something that wants control of this new world order wants to drop us to our knees. It's been 10 years now that I've been talking about intuitively how I feel that what we're heading towards in this geopolitical situation is women, American women, being hunted, whether with the use of robots. It's not necessarily about the shortage of wives in China. It's about what people do when economies collapse, when mighty empires are invaded, when there's a lot of resentment being built up around a group of people. And what you've had the chance in your own lifetime to see is innocent people being demonized and marked for death. You've also been spoon-fed propaganda to get you to go along with that or to be silent about those things that are taking place as they take place. You're being watched by cosmic forces. It's the things we do, we don't do, the genocides people get behind, thinking that it's necessary for their own group to rise. The devil is knocking. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. And we're knocking on heaven's door. We're trying to get outside the matrix. We're not trying to fall into some left-right paradigm. We're not trying to support these endless wars. We're not trying to see someone for the illusion of separation and judge them by their external skin suit. We're waking up to who we are and what kind of a matrix we're really in. And we're working together, many of us, to help us find the information, to help us escape. This is the quickening. You see, there's the Art Bell quickening. There's the metaphorical and there's the literal. There's the literal quickening idea, and then there's the metaphorical, and it's the quickening. And I knew years ago when I first started to talk about spiritual protection and first was getting attacked online for doing so, I knew eventually things would get easier, and they have in recent years, because I'm not alone. There are others. There are more books that have been written. There are more people that understand, right? That there, at the very least, that there is a malfunction cognitively when people become addicted to the internet and the dark side of the internet. And so it's our responsibility to use this in a mindful way. Infinite Waters. He was talking about the computer as something that gives you tumors. Not so spiritual. You need to pay attention to those people that act like they're all spiritual. I just focus on the positive. Really? If you're just focusing on the positive and you're telling someone else to not focus on the negative, someone can look at that from the observer perspective and go, that's negative to being judgmental anyways. If content doesn't apply, you tune it out. And I've been going through a interdisciplinary change in my entire lifestyle, not necessarily with everything that I'm eating, but with everything that I'm watching. Everybody that I watch, I like. I like every YouTuber that I watch. There's no one on YouTube that I'm stalking. There's no one on YouTube watching obsessively because I don't like what they're saying. There was a time in which certain people out there with their media platforms, it's like, oh my God, man, this guy's like Archon Mind hijacked, using sex to sell this and that, crypto, this and that. But it's like, that's also his life. That's also free market. What are we going to start proposing? What people can say and not say? So I have a right to not get behind cryptocurrency. And I have a right, to believe that that is not the most mindful way to invest our dollars. But should I be hating on someone else if they're successful, if they invested early on? No, enjoy. I think there's more to life to enjoy, though, than Reynolds and acting like you're this and that. But see, we're not talking about just him. We were talking about like 50 guys at one point said, Alex, you want to get a Bitcoin? Hey, Bitcoin. What, you know, Bitcoin? And it's like, I rather talk with men about real freedom outside of currency. What does it mean to have a free society, an intentional community to where people aren't relying on the big banks? What would those intentional communities look like? When is someone going to give me an example? And have you heard about Rainbow? And Rainbow family gatherings and certain types of quote unquote hippies. Hey, I'm all about open-mindedness, especially to cannabis. A lot of the groups that are out there are just drug cults, to be frank. Or revolving around, if you're a Democrat and you live in Colorado, and you're just like your Joe average hemp loving, hey, I just want to be positive. There's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of places you can travel to. If you're just like Donald Trump, right? There's thousands upon thousands of bars you can hang out where all your homies are, bro. All your homies are there, bro. But when you're an independent and you don't swing Democrat, Republican, you're just some dude who just doesn't buy that Hillary cares or that Trump cares. In fact, they're probably friends. When you're coming from that perspective, that is not an easy path to walk. When we are expected to pick one side or the other, it doesn't matter whether it's left or right. It's fascism. It's fascism. USA, Hey, we've lost. America's already gone. We should be having barbecues. We should be shooting pool. We should be having normal conversations about what type of reality we're in. We shouldn't be trolling each other. We shouldn't be putting each other in sparks and hey, how can we make one group, the sole group of all the world's problems? We need a rise above barbarianism. We have a gift. You're being watched cosmically by cosmic forces. You're being watched. I'm being watched. Nothing that happens here in this matrix happens by accident. I've come to that realization. I don't expect you to believe that. For all I care, you can believe that not only are we on a flat earth, we literally are the cherry in the cherry sundae. We're literally one of the cherries in a cherry sundae. Whoa, dude. I'm a cherry sundae. Yes, we're literally cherry sundaes. Those in that frequency box of now we're a cherry sundae where we're not only on a flat earth, but it's just one big star that's just emanating all types of sparks. The question is, why would we be in an alternative reality? Why would we be in a matrix? Why would we be in a reality? Like, what does it mean if reality is not as it seems? And so they know that there's free thinkers out there. They know that people are looking for the truth. And it makes sense for them every few years and constantly to be redirecting the conversation. Hey, let's talk about flat earth. Let's minga. Let's go over here. Let's stick with trends. No, let's not stick with the trends. Let's go outside the box. Let's talk about a conversation that affects our community, something that's happening around us, something that's not so charged with all this centralized processing straight out of InfoWars content. What does it mean to be free? What would that look like? What would that look like to see various people go from, oh, you mean I can actually do something for my community with my YouTube channel and actually raise awareness to things that are happening around me and maybe even provide people with information? And it's like we're still at an infantile level of people realizing what this is that you're partaking in. It's like we've been gifted. We've been gifted by like these beyond intelligence level something rather. Humanity's been gifted by a gift that it doesn't even understand. And this whole thing, communication, being able to share with you a certain number of ideas and sandwich that into 1 minute, and then the art of communication and the art of speech writing and communicating. I mean, that is unique to us, folks. That's why people engage in propaganda, because they know that influencing minds is key. Because minds are powerful. So we want to protect our minds from being influenced by them. They want to target us. It doesn't matter what you identify with gender-wise. It doesn't matter what you identify with ethnically. There's a program online for you right now that'll tell you that you're a victim and this other group is after you, and everything would be fine if this other group would be dealt with by governmental forces. And it's that plot that continues. They use the fear of the barbarians over the wall to teach people how to stack the bricks of their own wall between themselves and others, to stack those bricks, even to stack the bricks in the wall. And I'm being metaphorical with this wall thing, even to stack those bricks so high that they hurt themselves. It's like all I am is an independent voice. Yet you ask any Democrat in Portland, Oregon, what they think about Alex Ansari's independent status, especially in today's day and age. And I want to thank that person for joining the live stream. I want to thank those of you that have. Like, no one trolls from Portland. It's just that I miss them. I miss even that fake idea of we were all in it together to end the wars. I miss that, even if it was fake. World Can't Wait, 2007, 2008. And during that period with George W. Bush doing what he was doing, people were connected. I had all types of InfoWars fans. We felt like a family. It was like the world against us. How little did I know in 10 years' time how much would be done internally to destroy everything that we've built. You could be somebody that ran around for nothing but 10 years promoting Alex Jones and put out a video questioning his lordship and find the leeches upon you. Not so much anymore. I think people were more shocked 2 or 3 years ago when I became a little bit more direct about the Alex Jones turncoat 180. And now people are starting to see it. The problem is, right, with a lot of people that are stuck in the left-right paradigm, they hold that against somebody when they're independent. They can't go, well, he was against wars. He was against a surveillance society. He just didn't get behind Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, or Hillary Clinton. He's not really a bad person. He's just an independent. No, he's not, says the voice in the head. He's really secretly on the other side. And it's like we're arguing with people that hear voices. If they're going to call us a right-wing extremist, or if they're going to call us a libtard, it's like they're hearing voices. How can we help them? At a certain level, you cannot help them. It's at a level of no return. Then how do we keep doing what we're doing in a world where it seems that the odds are stacked against us, where they're making targets out of us? How long will we survive? How long will we have our free speech before someone decides to come after us for being an independent thinker, for not getting behind their narrative? What kind of a world is this? It's a world that I think might be testing us. Testing us, Alex? What do you mean? Testing our resolve. That's all I've seen throughout my whole life, is one big testing of my resolve. I mean, I've been doing this for 13 years, but we all know the view counts should naturally be way higher, as well as those that are watching the live stream, those that are being notified. We have 9 people watching on a channel that is now 13 years old. Let's pause on that. I must be a conservative white male. I'm being held down. Alex Hansery, 9 views. Yeah, who knows? Maybe people are just out and about. And it's like, no, there are people on the left being suppressed. There are people on the right being suppressed. And yet the people being suppressed, when YouTube started the crackdown, never had a conference. They never had investigators figure out, okay, on a logistic level, okay, your politics and your ha-ha-ha aside, what's really going on with this, with the algorithm that's burying a lot of the small YouTubers? And in the end, it doesn't matter whether you're small-time left, small-time right, unless you're getting on board the narratives of the dominant left-right reality. Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola, or maybe you want a little bit of Jill Stein RC over here. Unless people get on board those political narratives, they're going to suffer. But I believe that it's worth it to never compromise oneself. I can't even imagine a future where a Democrat or Republican steps forward that's actually being elected that cares about the American people. I can't even imagine that. What kind of reality that would even be? I don't believe our elections run that way. We don't vote for who's really put in power. We got the wake-up call in 2000 with Bush Jr. Okay? They ran this counterfeit election, McCain versus Obama. That was the Hillary versus Trump equivalent. Both McCain and Hillary were not in it to win it. They're part of the same counterfeit New World Order. They're not for the people. And so their role, McCain's role, was to make Obama look good. You dig? Because your brain cells, I know, can fire at least at a rate where you can see this trajectory. It's like math. It's like showing you where the math 2 + 2 = 4, not 5.3. Hillary was there to make Trump look like the man, and the man, she did. I'm not a fan of Bernie Sanders, but for those that, if you are familiar with real politics, those Democrats that are generally anti-war and things like that, apparently they hate Hillary, and they were really for this guy named Bernie Sanders. But Bernie Sanders wasn't even for them, and Bernie Sanders threw it to her. I mean, those people are still not even getting it. Bernie Sanders wasn't even in it to win it either. And that's just how crazy this is. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican. If you chose to identify with that, you can look at this and go, oh, they rigged the whole thing for us to stay slaves as they continue to build more and more wars until we came and fund defenses of our own nation one day against China or Russia. And that's where the mass trafficking of the women of sexual age are going to come in 10 years. That's why they've been sexualizing the young. It's not a matter of like the Chinese husbands. I mean, think big. It's a matter of all this anger and towards white Americans being manufactured by the New World Order that they will light with a match. See, they got some people to throw their anger at these different groups. Throw your anger at these different, they're the ones that run the New World Order. But in the end, it's not. Something sinister beyond even human comprehension runs this system. But cosmically, you're being watched. You can be offered to go one particular direction, or you can be offered something else. You could be offered all the riches in this world. If only you hurt such and such and do such and such. You might even find yourself rewarded for being a little evil cretin. And it won't even be until like after the person's even gone from the body, possibly, that someone even gets their karma. And it's like human consciousness is like wanting to see like karma instantly. And they may not understand, like the concept of someone selling their own soul or doing evil things for many, many years. It's like the internet gives you a lot of possibility. You want to slander someone, you want to stalk someone, you want to make someone's life a living nightmare. Here's the internet, here's a laptop, you can do it. Is that really what you want to do with your time? Who hurts you? And so, I think about those people that have been hurt so profoundly that are doing these things to other people online or other women, whether they're from the left side or the right side. It's not even a political. It's not even necessarily American. It's a modern human malfunction when some people go, it's like Tron. And the lack of relationships, lack of family get-togethers, too much internet, left-right divide, spiritual parasite manipulation of people with susceptible consciousnesses. And the more they stare at the false light, if they don't ever go outside and get exercise or go to the gym or do something else with their life, they can end up a sleeper agent and maybe live their whole life in comment sections for 10 years just waiting for activation. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing. We're probably done with psychotropic weapons, and they are probably being used on YouTube right now. One of the most mentioned topics is targeted individuals. And society is still at a premature, not only is it a prima donna society, it's at a very premature level of understanding what it means to be a targeted individual. Society was given the ultimate clue with Matrix the movie, with Dark City the movie. The metaphors and the allegories are all around you. David Icke just touched the surface. On some levels, I pick up where he leaves off. It's not a matter of whether one person is better than the other. It's a matter of we are kind of complementing each other's information. And a lot of people think that they're targeted, think they're being targeted by their neighbor or government agencies, and they may not understand the idea of the supernatural. Even if there was someone that said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and mess with this person. I'm going to go ahead and rev my vehicle up. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And now on YouTube, we could see how many different people have YouTube videos about things that are happening to them in their community. But that person could be targeted because of the good things that they're doing on this earth as a soul. And there could be other people that they come in contact with at the market, at their school, at the parent-teacher association meeting. There's going to be like humans interacting with other humans that are on this dark, lower, archonic side of life. They're like souls that just got out of jail, out of hell, and they're on probation. The last thing they're interested in is any information about the light. The light blinds them. Right? So we are a dance hall, a comment section, a forum, internet world of different souls, some coming out of hell and some trying to get beyond the matrix. And some of them are going to have a knee-jerk reaction to be angry with those that are trying to help people, or at least talking about getting outside the matrix. Somehow it's ruffling feathers in the archonic realms. And there are many people, billions of people alive today that are under their control. There are billions of people alive today that are under their control. If we were to see a massive wave, like Wave X, that just unlocks us from our own inner enslavement, myself included, the world would look so differently. Good men wouldn't be finishing last. There would be such a massive shift in relationships and the values that people hold. Things would shift dramatically. It may not be easy to see the world with new eyes. It may feel like an acid trip for someone to wake up and go, you know what? This world's pretty reptilian. It ain't just the LSD. It ain't just the David Icke books. This world's friggin' reptilian. And so we're like in a day and age now to where instead of the collective shift in consciousness happening, people are activating their reptilianism, their inner archon, their lower self. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You may not agree. You may not agree. The question is, if you think the world's become a more conscious place, is that based on the amount of people that are suffering or not suffering? Or is that based on how many material things you have and whether or not you enjoy your home right now? Because the problem is, a lot of people are measuring whether the world's changed or not based on how well they like their living room, how well the flowers are appearing at that moment, how well that dinner smells, how nice that trip was. And you see, when you realize that that's a level of consciousness, how different are we than monkeys that can speak? And like my friend A.H. that's in the chat room there was saying that like human beings are like a hybrid mix of pig and monkey. And on a certain level, I can see that. I could see the monkey sexuality with a lot of modern women and a lot of modern men, how it's not really beyond, like, even if they think they're smart and they have a cell phone and my body smells their fragrance and goes, oh yeah, that's a 10 on a physical primate level. Going deeper into their actual consciousness and looking for inner beauty, it's missing in a lot of these creatures that are walking the earth right now, that are smelling like pretty fragrances, that our bodies are programmed to procreate with. I'm looking for consciousness. I'm looking for love. I'm looking for females that hang around the comment section more than a week or a day or a few hours. People that are like consistent in appreciating those few humans that are actually consistently dedicating their lives to the truth. I'm looking for my brothers and sisters. I'm looking for other people on YouTube that are raising awareness about these things. I'm looking to hear from others that care about people that are pushed into homelessness because of land use codes. I'm looking for signs of get-togethers. I'm looking for signs of the people going outside the Borg. And I'm not seeing it. What I have is hope that within this little Borg reality that we do have in our little cubicle, my cubicle reality. Hello, Alex Ansary from his cubicle reality in the middle of nowhere to your cubicle reality. Hopefully, we can maintain our free thoughts so that within this Borg hive mind and YouTube server space, in this technological world, that we can do more than troll each other, that we can do more than engage in idle gossip, that we can actually accomplish technological discoveries, that we can actually break the codes of the matrix and start freely sharing information how to deal with, for example, some of these spiritual parasites. Now, that knowledge is timeless and goes back thousands of years. So much of this is arguably already within us, by the way. Just the general idea of the knowledge being within. I'm going to take a break. I have no idea what's going on in the comment section. Hopefully it's not a riot. It's a riot, all right. The police have already been called. No, seriously. I live in New York. Women hate me, says MGTOW Vegan. Well, you're in New York City. First of all, I would like to say welcome if you're a listener in New York City. Victor says, target individuals, not just Christians, it's worldwide in all religions. Absolutely. You can hear stories about people in the Middle East being killed by supposed radicals, right? Like in Afghanistan. Constantly, Afghans being killed by this other group, while many people in America think it's just the same group, that all these people support them or something, while they're actually being killed by them. And then people even say, well, that group, which I'm not saying because I don't want to flag the system, is actually created by Obama, Hillary, deep state. Okay. Then why are you demonizing all these refugees? Sounds like propaganda to make your own point, but not really like taking that real full heart and going, these people over here created that group over there. Now that group over there is being misrepresented as some sort of like government that those people over there may support. No, those people over there are being hurt by that group over and over and over again while they manufacture fake news that more Americans are joining that group. Jihad Jane, ladies and gentlemen, blonde hair, blue-eyed girl, gonna go and join them. I don't believe it. Fake news. All the years I've been online, I've never seen any propaganda from that group on Twitter. And other people are saying the same thing, that they've never once seen propaganda from that group on Twitter. And if it was on Twitter, who's putting it on Twitter? What? They can't trace and track down and shut down? They're able to shut down other people. Hell, all those people saying all the people that voted down Trump being censored. Yeah, like AMTV is being censored with 505,000 subscribers. That's censorship of the Trump bus. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, bro? Oh, that's censorship. That's pain. Oh, 505,000 subscribers. And I remember at one point, this guy was saying, you will not be monetized on YouTube if you're not a tranny. If you're not a tranny. So, sir, tell me, are you saying that I'm a tranny because a few videos are monetized? And if you're saying that, yes, Alex, I'm saying you're a tranny, I mean, really, how is this a dialogue anymore? How is this not like Idiocracy 2, like what we're living in? Like to the point of politics, to the point of like the whole movie, Idiocracy. You know, he got kicked in the balls. He got kicked in the balls. He got kicked in the balls. And like, if you study social media, if you study what people thrive on, it is the dumbest stuff they can possibly obsess on. They just want to lynch somebody. Society just wants blood. You can't tell me it's just the government. Nobody can tell me our world is woken up and we're living in a giant Coke commercial. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and furnish it with love. Well, apple trees and shit. No, it's all fake. It's all fake. Screw you, Portlanders. You lied. Maybe it's nice for you right now. Maybe it's nice for some of you right now. Some of you, you're protesting, oh, we're indivisible against Trump. Blah, you're rioting. You're starting fights. You're attacking people. You're saying all these people are Nazis. Can't you just be outside the box of the beast system for 5 seconds? Can't there be a potluck amongst any of you? Or let me guess, you're incapable of that. Is that it? Both of your sides, your prayer group and your Antifa, you can't actually share pizza. Are you biologically incapable of not being Archon mind hijacked? And the answer they will scream to us as they throw their baby diapers at us is no. And they will call us libtard if they're on the right. And they will call us a right-wing extremist if they're on the left. And they won't realize there is no left-right. There's just one angry American society that's looking for a group of people to barbecue. How do you like them apples? What does it mean for you to be a proud American that's not like the rest? Somebody that actually remembers what it's like for people to actually shoot pool together. To actually just be cool, man. Just be cool, man. That doesn't exist anymore. It exists. Oh, yeah. Somebody wants to get slammed enough so they can't even think straight. Oh, bro, we're having a good time. World star. You know, hey, I don't mind having a few drinks. In certain environments, hell, I'd go to another strip club. I'm not going to play fake with you. I'm not playing this little divine answery saint. But who's to say that I'm evil for wanting to be human? I miss humanity. I wish I could shake this planet and go, where is your free thought? This is your independent state. This is it. This is it. Ain't no mistake in it, girl. This is it. Dun, 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 dun. It's just fireworks. Woo, 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 woo. But ever since I was born, it's just been this firework ritual. And I was just saying last year, like, what does it say about society that they want to blow stuff up in July? I mean, seriously, it's kind of like get with the times. Was there fluoride in the water? Move your fire ritual to December. You know what? New Year's Day, Let's take the fire ritual of New Year's Day and do it when there's snow around. Give it to the humans. Give it to the humans and their Old Testament gods. You know what I mean? To teach us to prop up the Chinese firework market while promoting arson-like behavior, blowing stuff up. I like blowing stuff up. Like literally our first comment was, I like blowing stuff up. I've been doing this channel for 12 years. And the person that beat all of you to the comment section said, I just want to blow stuff up, manga. At what point is the core AA audience going to be dominant in the comment streams? The core AA audience, the pure spirits, the genuine, going to be the core in the live stream. Cue the Jeopardy theme. Because this is the call, folks. We don't know how much time we have left. Hell, I don't know if there's going to be a fire heading this direction. And I told myself last night as I went to sleep, if the live stream works, I'm going to go live. If the live stream doesn't work, then I'll keep doing pre-recorded. So the positive aspects of this is that if I choose to go to Denver, Colorado Springs, Boulder, and if you do like my content on this channel and you want to hang out and you maybe even might be able to help me find some short-term work even up there, and you've been around a while and you've commented here and there, I just want to throw that out that I would like to line that up ahead of time. Boulder, Colorado, Denver, Colorado, Colorado Springs. I feel like I'm really allergic to being in dense population centers, especially that part of Colorado. But I also know that changing up our environment can make us appreciate the things that we have. You know, I went all the way down on Greyhound to Southern California, and it could have been a better time for me to go. But that was a really, really heavy drain on me to go into the Southern California without a more concrete plan. It was pointless for me to go to Vegas. That's something for like other people that are like into the things that Vegas has to offer. And that's cool. The things to offer, like doing certain things, going out to certain places. And I may consider going to Vegas again. But I was so tired of being in the same place at the same time all the time that I decided to change up my reality just to maintain that gratitude. Now, we maintain gratitude for the most basic things in life, like our limbs, like our free thought, and the ability that we actually are able to still form a free thought. People can go ahead and say that nanochips are already in their body, but some people might be trying to give up their own responsibility for thinking for themselves. We have the ability to still think for ourselves. And I don't know why people have tried to tell me throughout my whole life that we don't actually have free will. That's an illusion, but that sounds like more of this Archon, Agent Smith, Matrix deception, sprinkling deception. Taking a breather. Okay, that's good to see. Bizzle, I feel lucky to be on here while you are on here. Upstate New York here. I'm looking for some fresh ideas. I know this doesn't look straight. I got to iron this more. It's an amateur studio, but I think that things are looking better quality-wise than they were looking before. You know what I mean? See? And then we have, oh my God, I got no clothes now. As we continue. But see, part of the black background is so that we have the right color. Check 1, 2. Oh my God, I wasn't paying attention and someone came and just depantsed me. It was like watching the WWE. It was like that moment where Ravishing Rick Rude got depantsed on national TV. This is really cool with the new, let's just let the audience decide. Black or blue? Black or blue? But yes, going back to the comment section, I've had a lot of coffee today, folks. And it's this day, of course, where people are lighting off fireworks all across America. And all I'm simply trying to do is light off a few explosions consciously, although we're not really getting too deep into anything. But exploding with new ideas as the solar flares interact with the Earth's magnetic field. Can you imagine the power if all the world figured out that these are very important times to be alive? Very important times to be alive. Hello, Peter. Hello, AH. I'm scrolling back up. I hate this world, says MGTOW Vegan. On the topic of being vegan, I like a more stress-free lifestyle before I'm like totally vegan, but I do flirt with the idea of being a vegan. I do see that there's a lot of popular vegan channels that are out there. I think I was watching a live stream. He was live streaming with his audience, and I think that he gets a lot of trolls that are meat eaters, so he likes to fight with them about veganism. Can you see this? How crazy this world is, man. It's just crazy. What are we fighting for? We got a vegan over here with trolls who has a vegan channel. So watch his back from the meat eaters, man. They're going to eat some meat and go after him. But I'm not ready myself to give up meat. It's when you live off the grid. You know what? I need to be adapting to veganism because I need to be adapting. I don't know about veganism. Adapting to surviving without meat for a prolonged period of times. That's why I keep quinoa around. No one really asks me about food supply because it's kind of a boring discussion, but I live off the grid and I keep several months worth of quinoa nearby in the event that I may need that. This is great. And check this out. I have like a $5 laptop. I'm sorry, a $5 tripod on that one. The lights that I have right now, by the way, I'm running off solar. I was having some battery issues earlier. I can run all this off solar. I can have a fan going over here. I can have a light going over here. And I can also see that I'm low on power. So as I come up on this 1 hour mark, I want to thank you for being here on this live stream. Maybe I'll come back in about an hour. I'll think about some things to discuss. I want to take some time off of reporting on the spring fire. I want to take some time off of some of those topics. Don't want to get too deep into like the deeper geopolitical situation. You can even say that I'm trying my best to express my free thoughts, my independence in a day and age where I feel like we're losing our independence. We're trying to like maintain like this belief in ourselves, in our species, in our lives, because if we don't have faith in ourselves and we don't have basic gratitude for life, those things that we are, we end up losing. All right. So I'm having actual connection issues because I'm out of power. So maybe I'll be back when the power is turned back on, or when the laptop has been charged. Happy 4th of July. Happy free thought.